PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds didn't invent the last person standing formula that's made it one of the most massively successful PC games in history, but over the course of a 9-month-long early access period, it certainly turned it into something special. This simple, bare-bones take on the Battle Royale-style deathmatch forgoes the fluff and high time investment of most hardcore survival sims in favor of fast, accessible action, as 100 players fight to the death within a shrinking force field. The result is a tight, focused, no-frills experience that's as exciting as it is unpredictable, and where no two games are ever alike. PUBG wastes no time putting you right in the middle of the action as you and up to 99 other players parachute onto one of its sprawling maps. Part of the genius of each match's arc is how heavily it weighs every move you make, and it begins with the critical decision of where to land. The moments after hitting the ground involve a mad scramble for weapons and gear as the killing begins right from the get-go. Backpacks for holding more equipment, protective gear, medical items, melee weapons, and a good mix of firearms are in good supply. But finding good loot is only half the battle. The other half is wit. As players outsmart each other in deadly games of cat and mouse, skilled or lucky survivors are forced into ever closer proximity within the confines of a deadly shrinking force field until just one player or team is left alive. Victory is an exhilarating reward, matched only by the suspense that emerges from the battle to achieve it. But even if you die early, jumping into a new game is always quick and easy. The deadly force field and occasional airstrikes marked with red on the minimap add a consistent sense of purpose that drives you towards conflict until the final standoff. With a randomized center each time and 2 unique maps, there's always plenty of variety on the battlefield. The abundance of trees on the forested island of Erangel provides lots of cover, even for groups of 4, while the sparser, rockier desert of Miramar makes moving across open areas on foot and in vehicles much more dangerous. Some areas in Miramar feel more isolated than even the most secluded spots in Erangel, but the diversity of elevations and more interesting city layouts that make good use of the handy new vaulting system more than make up for it. Plenty of loot in even the smallest buildings ensures hunting for a weapon is never a frustrating task, which not only keeps the playing field balanced and fun for everyone, but ripe for all sorts of thrilling confrontations. You might find yourself involved in a frantic shootout in the woods, on either end of a deadly hunt across a dense city, or holed up in an attic listening for the slightest creak or scrape of an approaching player. The use of sound to build tension and alert you to nearby enemies is one of the ways PUBG forces you to stay attentive and tactical rather than treating every round like a fast-paced shooter. Play long enough or use the awesome replay feature to observe skilled players, and you can learn the subtleties that tip off when another player has been in a place before you. An open door or an unusually dense or sparse pile of mismatched loot are telltale signs. All these layers merge to build a shooter that's invested in creating smart, nuanced survival and understands how even the smallest moments of your story contribute to the larger adventure. The dynamic of exploration and combat changes in fun new ways when grouped up. Playing solo brings certain elements to the formula that going in with a partner doesn't, and the same goes for trios and 4-player squads. Going alone affords greater freedom and stealth opportunities, but a well-coordinated team has more potential for pulling off exciting ambushes and vehicular assaults. And they're much more survivable because you can revive a teammate who's been knocked down, but not finished off. The option to play in first-person only servers also brings a challenging new dimension to matches by eliminating the corner-peeking advantages granted by the default third-person camera. The gunplay itself is also great. Firearms feel good to shoot, and there's a nice range of options for all playstyles. And while PUBG does retain that military sim stiffness that's become synonymous with the genre, it's just smoothed out enough to keep combat and movement satisfying and accessible to newcomers. Since the 1.0 launch especially, I haven't experienced significant performance or rubber banding issues. But it's important to note that version 1.0 still hasn't managed to eliminate the hacking problem that's most prevalent in high-skill matchmaking games, or a handful of existing bugs. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has taken the military sim gameplay popularized by games like Arma and DayZ, boiled it down to its most exciting parts, and streamlined it into quick and accessible rounds of pure, hassle-free, survival-based action. Even though each game starts the same way, its remarkable ability to feel like a new, tense adventure each and every round has kept me coming back for hours on end. For more on PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, check out our PUBG stats breakdown, our launch live stream, and our look at the much rougher Xbox One preview version. And for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.